Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I just want to tell a quick story. Um, in this week's parsha, we're studying the Mishkan, and there's so much going on right now. The studying the laws of the Mishkan really brings down and draws down hashpa and bracha, and good fortune, and it should increase the and be in an auspicious time that we shall rebuild the third Beit HaMikdash, and we'll have the Beit HaMikdash in all of its glory, and that will be amazing for all of humanity, fulfillment of the prophecies of old. And right now in Israel, there are so many institutions that are teams of Kohanim who are studying, of priests, Kohanim, sons of Aaron, direct descendants, who are studying these laws and preparing themselves to be ready to serve in the Beit HaMikdash. And they built even some of the vessels already that are going to be used in the Beit HaMikdash. A lot of very cool things going on. Even I heard Rav Yosef Tzvi Rimon, one of the chief rabbis in Israel. He is the chief rabbi of Alon Shvut, and was high up in the Rabbanut, and was a teacher in Gush Etzion. Anyways, he came to Texas at some point to find if they were doing some genetic testing, I think, with some cows to produce a red heifer. Right, so a lot of things are going on right now in these days to usher in the Messianic days. And I wanted to tell a story that's very inspiring to tell us about our tzaddikim, our righteous tzaddikim and agdolim, our giants, our rabbis. And it's a story about the Lubavitcher Rebbe. So there was this once upon a time Rabbi Lavnuni. You know, when the Lubavitcher Rebbe was 80 years old, he would stand on a Sunday, like 8 hours a day, receiving thousands of people. And one of the people who came to the Rebbe was one of his Chassidim by the name of Rabbi Lavnuni. And Rabbi Lavnuni was a man who had dedicated his life, to studying the laws and the details of the Beit HaMikdash, of the Holy Temple that is supposed to be built in Jerusalem, the first temple, the second temple, and he specialized in the Shitat Rambam, the laws as elucidated by Maimonides of the temple, all the measurements, all the scales. It's very nuanced. It's a very gigantic topic of study to undertake, to do, because you have to learn a lot of Gemaras, a lot of places. It requires a specialist. So Rabbi Lavnuni became a specialist in this, and he actually wrote a book, which you can actually buy nowadays, is the Holy Temple According to Maimonides, and according to the Rambam, I think, is the title of the book. And there's an English version even nowadays where you can actually look and see pictures and things and explanations of every detail and every measurement of the temple. And what's fascinating is, in his younger years, he brought to the Lubavitcher Rebbe a model that he worked on for many years, where you could take the pieces apart and everything according to the mathematical calculations to scale, according to the Rambam, the laws as elucidated by Maimonides. And so he brought it to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and the Lubavitcher Rebbe gave him a bracha, he gave him a blessing. But as he's about to leave, the Rebbe is looking at the model, and the Rebbe appears over and says, "Where is the ramp?" He said, obviously the Hebrew word. Where is the ramp, the kevish? Where is the ramp to the main altar? And Rebbe Levi pointed, "It's right here. This is where it's supposed to be, right here." And the Rebbe looked closer and he says, "It should be a little bigger." And Rabbi Lavnuni responded, he gave him the opinion of the Rambam, the numbers, and he said, "This is the scale, and this is how it's supposed to be." And the Rebbe basically smiled and said, "If you measured it, you measured it. I trust you." Basically that's what the Rebbe said. And he gave him $1, and Rabbi Lavnuni went on his way. But the story goes that night, Rabbi Lavnuni could not sleep, because the Rebbe had mentioned to him that the ramp was off. Keep in mind, he spent many a time measuring and everything to scale. And he had to measure it again. So he took out his books, he took out the Rambam, he took out all of his other notes, and he went through and he figured out that the Rebbe was right. The ramp was actually 1/3 of a millimeter too short, which actually translated to over a meter in real distance, a third of a millimeter too short, which translated to, in real life, to over a meter of actual distance of the ramp not being there. So this is a story that tells you about the go'inus, the genius of the Rebbe, the tzidkus, the righteousness of the Rebbe, and the chokhmah, the wisdom of the Rebbe. That we have great tzaddikim who are involved intimately with our Torah, and that should inspire us to, in turn, learn our Torah and learn our laws. The highest level, as Rav Asher Weiss always says, is lilmod al menat la'asot, to learn in order to know how to do, how to serve Hashem. We should study halacha. We only have limited time. We should study the laws so that we are able to understand what to do and how to do it properly. And this way we can bring b'meheira v'yameinu limot Mashiach. I love you all. See you guys all next time. Bye.